Welcome to Math TV with Professor V. Here's your latest integral of the day. We have an indefinite integral of cosine x plus sine x quantity squared times cosine 2x dx. And just as a heads up, you really don't need any fancy integration techniques besides u substitution if you choose. You just gotta know your trig. So to start off, I decided I needed to expand or basically FOIL out cosine x plus sine x and then see from there kind of how I wanted to play around with things. So let's do that, keeping everything in parentheses nicely. If I square that quantity, I'm going to have cosine squared x plus 2 sine x cosine x plus sine squared x times cosine 2x dx. And then from here, right away I have cosine squared x plus sine squared x, so I want to replace that with 1 plus, and then 2 sine x cosine x. That should look familiar to you. Does that remind you of somebody? Hopefully you're saying over there, sine double angle. Yes, correct. And then since I already have a cosine double angle, I'm thinking, yeah, let me replace this with sine 2x. Instead of trying to switch out cosine 2x. Do you see what I mean? Let's keep everybody in 2x land. Let's make that the argument of the day. So we have 1 plus sine 2x times cosine 2x dx. And then from here, the next thing I'm thinking is, all right, why don't we go ahead? We could distribute this through, if you like, okay, and split this into two integrals. Another option, like I mentioned right now, is you could do u substitution. So if you let u equal 1 plus sine 2x, then du, the derivative would be, derivative of 1 is 0, derivative of sine 2x would be 2 cosine 2x dx. And I pretty much have that right here. So 1/2 du is cosine 2x dx. And then rewriting our integral, we would have 1/2 u du. Pretty clean, right? And then we're left with 1/2 the quantity, oops, let me integrate. 1/2 times antiderivative of u would just be 1/2 u squared plus c. So this is 1/4 the quantity 1 plus sine 2x squared plus c. All right. However, this is not the answer that's in the back of the book. It doesn't mean it's wrong. Like if you were in my class, you did this on a test, it looks great, I'm happy, full credit. They did something a little different. They played around with their trig more. So I want to go ahead and show you that method as well so you can see an alternative, okay, if you didn't want to use u substitution. So back to where I said we could distribute. That's the way to get the answer that matches in the back of the book. Okay, but nothing wrong with what we did here, you know. I think it's fabulous. It's pretty clean, all that good stuff. So other method, which I think makes math fun, you know. Other method. Let's paste it in. Paste. Okay, and so we're just gonna start distributing. So we have antiderivative of cosine 2x plus sine 2x cosine 2x dx. And then what you're going to do is notice this resembles sine's double angle formula, sort of. Let me just show you how to play around with it. So when you have sine of 2 theta, it equals 2 sine theta cosine theta, right? But notice in this particular case, we don't have a 2 in front here. So that means 1/2 sine 2 theta can be used to replace sine theta cosine theta. Well, what's theta in this particular problem, in this integral we're working on? Theta is 2x. So if I have sine 2x cosine 2x, replace theta with 2x over here, you'd have 2 times 2x, right? So then I can replace all of this sine 2x, cosine 2x with 1/2 sine 4x. This right here, 1/2 sine 4x. And what that lets me do is just have a simpler term, and then I don't need to u sub to finish off the integral, in case you have some sort of aversion to u sub. So we have cosine 2x plus 1/2 sine 4x dx. And then I know we have constants here in front of our variables, but we don't need to u sub for them, right? You can just divide by each of those constants when you integrate and save yourself the trouble. We can talk about why in just a second. But if we think here, okay, antiderivative of cosine something would be sine something. And then because of the 2, I need to divide by that. So we're going to have 1/2 sine 2x as the antiderivative of the first term. And then this one, just be a little more careful. Whose derivative did we take to get sine something? A negative cosine. Keep the 1/2 and also divide by 4. So this is going to be negative 1/8 cosine 4x plus c. And this is actually the answer in the back of the book. And you might say, whew, that really doesn't resemble the other answer that you had. So here's the thing. If you were to sit there and expand this quantity, you would have 1 plus 2 sine 2x plus sine squared 2x. And then if you replace the sine squared with the appropriate Pythagorean identity, you could play around with it and get something equivalent to this, but you might be off by a constant a wee bit. So I'll leave it to you as an exercise to play around and try to prove to yourself that they're equivalent solutions, okay? And then if it was a little too aggressive for you, how I just anti-differentiated these without a u sub, let me show you exactly why it works. And I've been emphasizing this to my Calc 2 class right now. They just started that they don't need to u sub over every little thing. So let's think back to when we first learned how to take derivatives and we were learning the chain rule, okay? If we took the derivative of just plain old sine x, we knew that that was cosine x, right? But if we take the derivative of, say, sine 2x, the derivative would be cosine 2x, and then we would need to multiply by the derivative of 2x, so we would need to multiply by another 2, right? And this works for anytime you have a constant in front of the variable, in front of your argument. So say the derivative of e to the 3x, that's e to the 3x times 3. So when we integrate, when we anti-differentiate, you're going backwards, right? You're going backwards. So if you have antiderivative of cosine x dx, basically it's saying whose derivative did we take to get cosine x? Why, it's sine x. But what if you have cosine 2x dx? So basically, what if you have this, but without the 2? Whose derivative did you take? Well, you took sine 2x's derivative divided by 2 though, right? Because there isn't a 2 sitting out here. So that's why we have 1/2 sine 2x plus c. And then similarly, I think you could figure out what the antiderivative of e to the 3x would be. You would go, oh wait, there's no 3. So that means it's just going to be 1/3 e to the 3x plus c. And you see this when you actually do a u substitution. So if I were to sit here and say, all right, let's let u equal 3x, du is 3dx, 1/3 du is dx, then there you go. The whole point of the u sub is just to remind you to put the 1/3. And then your integral, I know I'm doing this quickly, but I'm just trying to make a point, would be 1/3 e to the u du, which is 1/3 e to the u plus c, which is 1/3 e to the 3x plus c. And you're like, oh, all that happened was I added a 1/3, which I could have seen to do if I just sat there and thought about it for a second instead of doing the u sub, okay? It's not wrong to do u sub for problems like this. It's just that if you're starting Calc 2, you're going to be doing integrals that are a lot more involved, a lot more complicated. And if you can save time, save steps, and just do these quick little processes or integrals in your head and not have to use sub, oh, you're going to be so grateful later. Save the use sub for when you really truly need it. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I know I went off on a tangent, but sometimes it's necessary to be reminded of these things. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment down below. Which method do you like better? Did you like using double angles and not doing any U sub? Or did you like a little U sub? I don't know, you tell me. Subscribe if you haven't already. I don't know if I said that. You can also watch full-length video lectures if you're interested. Catch me on Instagram and TikTok at MacTV with Professor V. And if you want to support my channel, you can join my Patreon. Link is in the description. Bye, guys.